Gear up as Cash Miller and a team of accomplished guests steer you on an enlightening voyage filled with valuable tips, fresh insights, and effective strategies. Welcome to Marketing Masters, the Agency Power Show.
Hello, everyone. My name's Cash Miller. I'm the CEO of Titan Digital and the host of Marketing Masters, the Agency Growth Show. Today, I've got with me Jonathan Logan of Greenlit Solutions, and we're going to be talking about AI, its impact on marketing, and what it looks like in the future. Jonathan, hey, take a second. It's great to have you on the show. Take a second and tell us about yourself and your agency.
Yeah, Cash, thanks for having me on. My agency, Greenlit Solutions, is focused on providing affordable marketing solutions primarily to small and medium businesses who normally don't have the large budget for a full marketing agency or even hiring a marketing professional. So what we do is we have a team of marketing specialists that all have their specific tasks, and we kind of act as a middleman and channel the freelance work almost to them on a case-by-case basis.
Great. And, so tell us for a second, what kind of businesses have you typically been working with?
Typically IT. We have a healthcare staffing company. Most recently, we're going to be starting next month with a distillery, which that will be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Anything that's, alcohol can always be a great, enjoyable, type of work to, and hopefully they give you samples, you make sure you have the product.
Samples, I will say.
Yeah, great. Okay. So let's dive right in. The first thing I wanted to be able to ask you about is, AI is having a real impact. I mean, it's, things like ChatGPT, they are really out there. It's, it's taking pretty much the world by storm. It's really weird because, all this stuff has really been in development, but it feels like it just came along, yesterday. Yeah. And so it's going to we know it's going to have a real impact on marketing and the way companies approach it. What do you see? What is your take on how it's really going to affect things? And changes that are going to come because of AI and how it's really been built into different things, because it's not just ChatGPT. There's so much more.
Right. I think AI is going to continue to take the world by storm. I think we're going to see innovations with AI that no one could have even dreamed of, not even now. I think AI is going to, and it already has drastically increased this push in marketing towards automation. I mean, if you looked at Hootsuite, Keep, Klaviyo, all of these were already working on automation, and I think that AI will really just hit the gas on that. I think AI will cause a downturn in quality in marketing for a little bit because I think the proclivity of humans towards laziness is unmatched, and I think that it can be used in really interesting ways, like Midjourney, for example, the image generator.
Yeah,
you can create some just breathtaking images with it that you can be used in marketing. But I think a lot of people can rely on it too much, and then it'll become kind of some people will hamstring themselves a little bit. But I think AI will continue to accelerate automation, and it will accelerate research. Like even just using ChatGPT to help you identify keywords for your target audience is really great.
Yeah. The Midjourney that you mentioned, we use that, from an agency standpoint. And for those that don't know, it's like this AI version. You can actually hook like ChatGPT up to it and it pulls, or has the ability to craft like really unique images and such. But it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't solve all your problems. It's something that it's an extra tool and it can really come up with some unique things, but you still need designers and input and such, so it's like you get some of it. They think it's like this giant, revolution.
Yeah. And I think what you were saying about designers specifically, I know several people who are scared that they're going to lose their jobs as graphic designers. But it's look, you need, if you want to get ahead of this wave, you need to learn to integrate AI into what you already do, and then you need to be excellent at your craft, because I think AI will wipe out probably a good 25% of people who are not excellent in their craft, and they can just be knocked out with AI, and what will be left will only be the masters and the ones who are exceptional at what they do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like when we hire as an agency, we're one of the questions we're asking is do you have experience with ChatGPT? Have you been using it? And we're seeing it as an assistant. It's like, you get in the news, it can design you a whole website and do all of these things, right? Technically it can, but it has a lot of limitations. For one, you need somebody, a designer or whatnot, that's experienced and they know how to use these things. But even if it can design you the whole site, and we've been testing those things, what can it do? And my recommendation to our team has been, look, you're not going to have it design the entire homepage or anything, but there are time-saving things you can use it for. The example I like to give is icons. Like if you use icons on a website design, which is, very common, typically you're going to look up online, different icon styles and stuff. You're going to create either from scratch or you're going to pull from like an icon library, something that already exists, and you're going to modify it. So you can, use those kinds of tools to create those icons for you that might be more unique, something that's not out there. It's not in a library. It really goes with the aesthetic that you're looking for on that website. It's still not designing the whole page. It's doing something that would otherwise take the designer a great deal of time. Mm-hmm. So it's a good time saver, but you still need the designer. They're still getting it to work with the rest of it.
Yeah, and even with creating something like icons, you'll still want a designer to go over it and make sure that all of the icons you produce are still succinct with each other and then with your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And that goes same thing with like image generation, because it can do, some really great stuff there. I mean, what are you seeing on how have you been using it?
So ChatGPT or Midjourney or both?
Both.
So the very first time I got onto ChatGPT, I had been playing with Midjourney earlier that day, and I was like, I wonder if I could create a Midjourney like prompt generator. So that was like the very first thing that I did on ChatGPT, and it worked, and it still does. I don't really use it as much just because I've done so many prompts. It's easier for me to just type it out. But Midjourney, I'll use it if you look at the article I recently posted on the Greenlit Solutions LinkedIn page about AI in marketing. That image, I actually use Midjourney to create. So I find it really helps me kind of visualize some of the more obscure concepts that I think of. And then I'll edit it however I need to from there. And then ChatGPT, I've had really good success with it using, sorry about that. I've had really good success with ChatGPT where I can actually train it to know about a specific brand. So let's say for the distillery I mentioned. So I'll give it, okay, here's the name of the distillery, here's its target audience, here's the demographic that they target, here's the area, here's, and I'll give it all this data. And I'll say, okay, give me a framework for an article that would target the distillery's audience with boating. It can give me a good framework, and I'll take that and I'll build it out from there. Or writer's block. ChatGPT is excellent for helping with writer's block. I'll be stuck on writing copy for a blog or some post or whatever, and I'll be like, hey, I need something on brand, because I'll have the different chats broken out for whatever project it is. So I'll be like, hey, I need something on brand with Greenlit Solutions about XYZ topic, and it'll give me a bunch of them, and I'll take which ones I want. So I definitely use it as a tool. I don't use it as a crutch. And I think people will probably use it more like a crutch. The one thing I actually with ChatGPT that I found extremely helpful was ChatGPT can build out tables. So what I'll do is I'll be like, hey, let's say I want to do one image post a day. Hey, I need one Instagram friendly image post about managed IT services. Give them to me in a table, organize them so and so, and it'll pop them out for me. I can copy and paste that table into Canva Pro, and I can bulk create, which I don't know if you're familiar with that tool, but I can. Canva, so I can create 31 images, and you can build out your brand in the I forget what they call it in Canva, but basically it's like the brand profile. You can hit shuffle. You can hit you can pull the logos on there, and you can make all of them unique, but still in the same theme and on brand with whatever you're working for. So that's another way I've used ChatGPT that has really actually helped my workload with content creation.
Yeah, no, that's totally it. Is, using it to like supplement. So you're starting with some sort of base piece, and then it's like, hey, I need a bunch of variations of this, and here's the instructions on how, what kind of end result I'm looking for. I like your example of, taking, because it got me thinking about taking like stock photos and stuff, load the stock photo, but I need this in kind of this type of style. And you create something that's brand new from it. But it needs something often to work with, not just a command. If you want to come up with something, that's a different type of image, because I know like, they got one that's doing, videos and stuff. So you can load up like the stock video and it will turn it into a video. And be able to take from it. So, I mean, like I said, if you take the time to do the research, and really start to study the different systems and how they work, then it can be a great time saver. It can add actually a lot of creativity, to your work, because it's stuff that otherwise you might not have been able to do.
Yeah, I agree. Because like ChatGPT, the database that it pulls from is so massive, you will definitely get ideas or phraseology you wouldn't even have thought of before.
Yeah, totally. So let's let's move on to like data analysis. I know you've got some experience, I think, with using it, to do some of those tasks that, because in marketing, everything is about data.
Yes.
We're always looking at it because it's how we judge whether we're getting the result we're looking for to begin with. So, what do you see on that side of things?
I think that AI, especially machine learning, is adept at analyzing fast data sets. It can handle so much more than the human mind can comprehend in such a short amount of time. And I think it can identify trends and patterns that we might often miss. And I think that can help our clients, our businesses, gain an understanding of customer behaviors, preferences, habits, demographics, et cetera, that can allow for more specific and effective targeting of your marketing strategies. But I think that also, again, I kind of harp on this. I think that if people rely too much on AI, that they just won't see the thing that's right in front of them. Yeah. And that applies to data analytics as well.
Sure. That's, I say, it's not going to necessarily, I like to tell people it's like for certain jobs, you still need people doing those jobs. You may not need as many people as you might have prior. Okay. That's just what it is. But it depends on how you're using these tools, because that's what they are. They're tools. They're meant to be assistants. Like we've gotten ChatGPT, like accounts for most of our staff and stuff. Because it's helping as an assistant during the day so that they can be more proficient in what they're doing. Data analysis is one of those things. Number crunching and such, we've always used, or for as long as computers have existed, we've used it anyway.
Right.
Things like chat's just making it more accessible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I've seen some people who are building their own like AI data analysis specific for example, real estate. So if you're a real estate investor, they'll build an AI chatbot like, hey, I'm interested in buying, X address at whatever price, and it can run all those numbers of like a real estate analysis report and produce you like, okay, this is a good investment, this is a bad investment. And I think that the same thing will continue to happen with marketing for sure.
Yeah, we've been using it for some analysis in the case of paid ads, to see, where opportunities might lie, especially if we were looking at the possibility of working with a new client. Yes, we can do certain things if we're going into Google Ads or something, but that's really just pulling, research versus, analyzing what it is and like what you'd have to do, especially because I know in the case of Google Ads, they are incorporating more AI into their stuff, and Facebook is going the same way.
Yep.
And part of that is going to be analyzing that data so that your campaigns become more effective. And changes can be made quicker. Because of its analysis.
Yeah, with Facebook ads, I know they've been doing machine learning in their advertisements for a long time. And the downside, I shouldn't say downside, but the disadvantage of that is you kind of have to invest a significant amount of money for their machine learning to figure out who your audience actually is. So I think incorporating AI into that will hopefully speed up that process and make it more affordable for those who are purchasing ads.
Yeah, in the case of Facebook, because like I say, everything runs on data. I know that they're integrating AI so that you can do more ad iterations, which can often be extremely difficult. It's because they're time consuming. It's not, it's what changes. If you can incorporate the changes quickly, you can test, that data, you can see whether, what has an effect, because you can do, iterations. I was listening to a podcast a few days ago, and they were talking about testing like 50,000 iterations for a campaign. I mean, it's insane. Yeah. And the idea is that if we can do more of that testing, we get we can more quickly find what works, and what is not going to work. And the AI can see that faster than us, because it's like you take a single ad, it's, got something, it's an image, and you change one element on it. It can determine how fast, it can do it a lot faster of determining whether that change was good or bad. Or a series of them.
Yeah, I think about Thomas Edison's quote. It took him 100 tries or however many tries to make the light bulb. And someone asked him, was like, well, you wasted all this time. Why did you keep trying? He's like, well, I just learned 99 ways how not to make a light bulb. It's like, well, the same thing could be said in this scenario. The AI learned 99 ways how not to do an advertisement. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it takes the being able to do a lot of data analysis quickly. Mm-hmm. I think one of the biggest things, and let me know your thoughts on this, but with AI coming forward like this, when we talked data analysis in the past, it was like, if you really go back, giant mainframe computers crunching numbers, and then it's, down to PCs and laptops and stuff. I think the advent of AI has made it more accessible. What are your, for the general population?
Making data analysis more accessible to the general population, or?
Yeah, the data analysis, but also as tools for other things. Like I say, we think of, what it's computers when we're, using them, we're constantly, putting in commands and stuff like this. But I feel like AI has just made it a lot more accessible for the general public, to be able to use what would be in the past something left to large companies and such,
Okay, I see. Yes.
And even our computers can only do so much, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I would agree with that assessment. I think AI right now, in the phase we're in like the crook of the elbow, as they say, of an exponential growth in that technology and the accessibility of it.
Yeah. I've had some conversations with others, on how AI is going to affect content generation and also AI. What's your take? I've seen different points of view. It's going to be good. It's going to be bad. What do you think?
I think there definitely needs to be a balance in how it is utilized. But if you don't utilize AI in your content creation, you're going to be left behind. I think just the time alone that it saves you will allow you to further propel your business in such an exponential way we don't even comprehend it yet. Because like I was saying before with the ChatGPT, just doing that cut my workload. Using ChatGPT with Midjourney and Canva cut my time down by at least 50%. So, and that has allowed me to do a lot more other things. And I like copyright, especially. I like writing blogs a lot. So that's allowed me to write a lot more. And I'm working with 2 other startups right now outside of Greenlit. So it's pretty it's time consuming. So having that time has allowed me to prioritize other things where otherwise it would have been just totally consumed by just repeatedly making something over and over and over again. So I think you need to use AI to make effective content creation strategies, in that if you don't use it, everyone else will be using it and you'll be left behind. I don't know if I said that very well.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had a previous conversation where when it came to content and stuff, AI can't really help you with the strategy. Mm-hmm. Okay. AI can help with some of the generation. So how are you using it? give me an example, I guess, of when you're looking at, okay, we've got to do this kind of content. What's kind of the process that you're going through now with this implemented?
So let's see. There's one tool that I've found great success with. So I'll do long form video content, and then I'll use Video, VIDYO, I believe is how it's spelled. I don't know if you've heard of that one yet, but what it does, it takes long form content and it cuts it up into short form video content, and it automatically puts captions. It adds it gives you like 4 or 5 different variations of the same style. It'll actually go through, it'll analyze the long form video that you gave it, and it'll be like, okay, these are probably the best parts that will produce the most results. So I've used that in a pretty successful degree with producing podcasts or producing long form video content for end user training in cybersecurity, that kind of thing. So that would be probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah, I can see, definitely doing that. Yeah, that's an interesting thing because you're using the AI. You're starting with what is long form, and you're using it to determine what are the best ways to make it into short form.
Right, and then it edits everything for you and puts the captions, and it saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, you get the finished product. I know AI and video is becoming a really big thing, for doing different tasks and such. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like you say, video, we know obviously plays really well, on the internet. People are, we're consuming ridiculous amounts, especially in the case of short form videos, like TikTok's made up of tons of short form videos, but even YouTube's adopted them a great deal because of the success of them.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts, they're definitely going after TikTok right now. They have a better monetization strategy than TikTok does. And then I think that because they've been around longer, they have more of a established customer base than TikTok does. And I think that TikTok, because there's all this controversy about security and privacy around them, and then TikTok has kind of been the target of censorship and other things. I think that YouTube will eventually eat their lunch, but I think TikTok has revealed the amazing capacity of short form video content, and I think everyone will be doing that at some point. And if they're not, they really need to get on it.
Yeah, it's short form video, and I know it's a slightly off topic, but it is extremely, addictive and such. So if you can use AI to create, because video is always, the challenge has always been creating it, a large amount of it, for different things, but to do it efficiently. And that's where AI can actually help a great deal.
Yes. I definitely agree with that.
Okay, so let's move on, to I think one of the biggest things that will impact is marketing automation. So what do you see happening there? You mentioned was it HubSpot and stuff, early on. What do you see happening there? Because I think it's going to be extremely dramatic when it comes to automation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it'll be more. I think it'll be more dramatic than either one of us can understand at this point, because I think we will get to a point with AI and marketing where someone will probably build a tool where you put up your website, you give in your name, your target audience, your website, and like your branding information, and it'll produce full content for you. It'll produce, it'll give you strategies, it'll give you video content, it'll give you image content. I think that will eventually hit the market at some point if someone's not already working on it. I just gave them a great idea. But but I think that automation in marketing is the future, and it always really has been. And I think that AI is just going to accelerate like the handling of routine tasks, like scheduling social media posts. There's a tool called FeedHive out there. I've used for a couple of my clients. Great tool. One interesting feature that I really like is it analyzes your previous posts, and it'll give you, okay, this is the optimal time to post. This is when you'll get the most engagement. This is when your target audience seems to be engaging with your post the most. This is when you get the most views. I think that'll be more. I think there will be more little tweaks like that to the tools that are already out there, and that'll increase those things, such as like email campaigns, right? The same kind of deal. Like, okay, what time of day do you get more opens? Let me help. The AI will probably produce your headlines for you and your, subtitle text for you as well to give you the most optimal results.
That kind of goes back to what we were mentioning earlier with iterations and stuff, because you say, like we do a lot of email marketing in our agency, and being able to test different subject lines quicker, smaller batches going out to see, so you may have a much larger list, and the content's generally the same, but you test different headlines and you can do it more quickly because a lot of that stuff right now is still done basically, really manually, unless you're setting up specifically like, some, sequence or something that you're going to do. Otherwise, for each individual one, you still have to do the work, and you have to analyze the data and stuff and say, okay, this went out on this time. AI is going to be able to do that analysis for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And then either make the recommendations or even go so far as to set your next campaign up based on that data.
I think it'll get to a point where it sets up your campaign for you. Like you'll probably have to still write out the email copy, but you'll have an AI assistant that'll help you write it. And then I think it'll do most of that for you.
Yeah. No, I can see that, where, the AI first, because we already know it can help write copy. Then once it's written the copy, it's going to, either make the recommendations or automatically schedule based on, tests it does. And it may even have the tests sort of included. So, I say, sending out small batches of emails and such, if they're newsletters or whatever, and then they're doing it at different times of the day. And it's testing, it's figuring out the most effective. And the next time it does an email, the next one that's, supposed to go out, now it starts honing it in. It says, okay, these times don't work, so it's like, it's similar to like Google ads and stuff, where the longer you let those campaigns run, the more data it gets. And then it's making adjustments or suggesting adjustments, at least, based on that data.
Yeah. And I think, you can already buy emails, right? You can already buy marketing data for whatever your customer is.
Sure.
And I think another element to that whole marketplace will be timing and automation data that will help with. They'll advertise, hey, this data will also help your AI, produce content and promote it and send it out at X time, which is the best.
Yeah, what's going to be the best time for it to actually send? Let's say it's going to go through and it's going to take all the parameters. Let's say, like you said, you can buy, marketing data already, but it's actually, rather than buy the data, you're learning. It's going to learn fast from the campaigns it's running. And be able to make adjustments on the fly. And I think that's one of the biggest things that will be beneficial to marketers and companies and such is the ability for on the fly adjustments. Where you're not reliant on a human to figure out even what needs to be adjusted.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that will be I think that'll just be a whole nother jump in the efficiency of the automation using AI.
Yeah. Do you see any particular area in automation besides like email marketing and such that you think it's going to be like really, a difference maker?
I mean, email is definitely a big one because email marketing is so huge. And I mean, statistically, it's one of the most effective avenues of marketing. I think placing targeted ads, I think, can be automated with AI at some point. I think like the Feed Hive already has the scheduling social media posts. I think those are probably the really big ones, but I think AI automation will eventually hit, I think, every avenue in marketing at some point.
Yeah, it's going to touch on every piece. We already know, that from, websites it's touching on, for design and build. It's definitely touching on anything content related. It's, really diving into design that could be, let's say it can have an impact on not just websites, but print design. It could have an impact, branding, you name it. It's touching already. It's really kind of how far will it go with each, area.
Yeah, I saw when you mentioned branding, I was remembering there's a tool that I saw that already does that. You give it your brand name and you give it like your industry, and it'll give you a bunch of different logos. It'll give you different color schemes. It'll give you type fonts. It'll give you, okay, here are your core values that would resonate with your target audience, like the whole nine.
Oh my
practically.
God.
It's pretty interesting. And I'm like, I kind of want to try it and just build a little mini brand around one of these things and just test to see how accurate it is.
See what it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on the design side, we've tested, logo design and stuff just to see what it would do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know, not that particular program, but it's, one of the things I think it lacks still is some of the creativity that can come from, the individual. Yeah, because it can kind of get stuck in like silos. Yeah, because I say it's everything with AI. What people I think forget is there is a source, for the data. It has to have something to draw upon.
Yep.
Yeah, and so how much variation is within the source can definitely impact what it actually gives you back, as output.
Yeah, and I think in the article I put on LinkedIn for Greenlit Solutions, I think, I don't want to say I ripped pretty hard on people using AI as a crutch, but I think that a lot of people will, and especially with the branding, that one, like when I saw that website, that really struck me. I'm like, wow, people are going to come out with whole brands, their whole identity as a business, and there's not going to be any humanity to it. Mm-hmm. It's just all going to be some modified version of some data point that the AI regurgitated for you.
Yeah, and so you wonder how much creativity is really going to be in there. Yeah,
right.
I had a conversation, a different episode, show we did, and I say the lady I was, talking with, she really focused on it. Like it cannot, and she's a content marketer, cannot replace the strategist,
Yep.
And it only supplements. So you can't really get rid of, you have to have somebody, you still need writers, it's because you need people that know what they're actually doing on that front. Yeah. And so, it can become a crutch. I totally agree. Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you this one last question before we wrap it up. There's another podcast I listen to. It's Reid Hoffman, Masters of Scale LinkedIn. He likes this. He asks a very similar question to this. Yeah. So AI, positive or negative? Yes.
I would definitely say it's a positive. I think it's a positive in what it can allow the same team to do. I think hopefully it can lower marketing costs because, for me, I'm passionate about small and medium businesses and startups. So I think if AI will help allow those to get off the ground a little bit easier. But I think that there are definitely some dangers, with every advance in technology. And I think AI, people will use like a crutch. I think it can rid marketing of its humanity if you're not careful, if just everything's automated. And I think that AI with like deep fakes can affect a lot of different elements in our daily lives. So I think that there's pros and cons, but overall, I would definitely say it's a pro. But if you want to have a good career in whatever field you're interested in, you're going to have to learn how to use AI appropriately within that career path.
Let me ask you a kind of a side question to that. Do you think government should be regulating AI?
So I have mixed feelings about this because I kind of don't like the government in my business. I like to be left alone.
Yeah, sure.
But I do think that there are some very clear and present dangers regarding AI. So I would say that I don't think there should be like a regulatory body or anything, but I think that there should be, how should I put this, like extra penalties if you use AI for something, let's say fraud. If you use AI for fraud, then they can add, this person used artificial intelligence for fraud, and that can be like an add-on to whatever charge they're charging you with, something kind of along those lines to deter the use of it. But I don't think there should be a whole regulation body. I don't know if that made sense, but some kind of balance.
We need something that there needs to be some sort of oversight, but do you need like a whole governmental department or something, along those lines? That might be, too much. So I could see that, but there's AI, of course, they're already talking about the implications in the case of fraud and stuff, especially because, email scams are still one of the biggest things. So I know people have already started using AI to, customize their emails so that the person overseas for us, write some email now and you could catch it because it didn't necessarily sound broken English and all of that. Mm-hmm. Well, now AI has helped fix that problem, for them. So
yeah, one of the startups that I actually founded is called Fission. We're going to be launching in the next couple months, but that's what we do is we actually scan emails to determine if it's malicious or not. And with the emergence of like ChatGPT, especially making AI available to the public, and like you said, it being available to the public, there's going to be good people and bad people that use it. So part of the technology that we're developing there is, okay, so we need to determine not only if it's malicious, but we need to determine if it's AI enhanced phishing, so that's, it definitely complicates the cybersecurity side of things. But it's almost like the Wild West out here.
Yeah, it really is. It's, in its own way, AI is just like the kind of how the dawn of the internet was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and nobody knew exactly what it was going to look like. 25 plus years, on. Okay, we've kind of got to figure it out, at least for the moment. Yes, we get web, 2.0, 3.0 and stuff. Right. But for the moment, we know what it looks like, and AI, we don't.
Yeah, I heard a really good analogy where the AI technology is the .com boom, and like ChatGPT is the App Store.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that does, and the .com boom, we know what happened there. So, but the internet recovered too. So,
I think AI is here to stay, even if there is some crazy crash. I think AI is here to stay in some form or another.
Yeah, like I say, the .com boom didn't take down the internet.
Right.
Other companies came along. Same thing with AI. You'll have some, people that are incorporating it or, creating their own versions that, maybe they succeed, maybe they fail. But ultimately, AI is here to stay.
Yeah, I think ChatGPT will be one of those things that stays around. Now, whether ChatGPT becomes AOL or Microsoft, we'll have to see.
Yeah, right. I mean, it'll probably be Microsoft. They, have invested heavily.
Right.
So, okay. Well, I think that wraps up our show for today. Again, my name is Cash Miller. I'm the CEO of Titan Digital, and I'm the host. And today with me was Jonathan Logan, the owner of Greenlit Solutions. Jonathan, if they wanted to get a hold of you, what would be the best way to do it?
Definitely LinkedIn. I'm very active over on LinkedIn. You can find me Jonathan Logan on LinkedIn, or you can look up Greenlit Solutions on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. Well, that takes care of today's episode, and it's been great. I hope everybody gets something, informative out of it.